Welcome to Hot Seat, the only program where you get nothing else but sharp insights and observations from the top newsmaker of the week. Tonight, our guest is Dr. Shashi Tharoor, former Union Minister, Member of Parliament of the Congress Party. Welcome on Hot Seat, Dr. Tharoor.
Thank you, Vipendra.
Tell me first, it's almost as if that there has been a role reversal between the Congress and the BJP if you were to look at what's going on in Parliament. For the last 10 years, it was your party members who were accusing the BJP of indulging in disruptionary tactics. Now the shoe is on the other foot. Tell me, firstly as an individual, do you support this constant move of disrupting Parliament?
Well, I must say that the principle of what the Congress party is protesting about, I fully support. The method, there can be legitimate room for concern or disagreement, as that's up to individuals. But I will say that as far as the party is concerned, it is simply demanding reasonable things. For example, today's hangama and the resultant boycott of Parliament. Why? Because the party says, you know, a minister, a member of the Council of Ministers violates the law and admits to having used inflammatory language.
So she apologizes, the Prime Minister apologizes, the Prime Minister repeats her statement.
So, no, not in the House. So we have said, why can't the Prime Minister, who is a member of the Lok Sabha, give a statement to the Lok Sabha about his own minister, whom he of course appoints or disappoints?
But now, sir, the matter has gone way beyond just a mere apology. The main demand which is being made by your party is that the minister must be sacked. Now, on the merit of this particular demand which is being made by the Congress party, but I want to understand from you, is it true or not that the Congress also seems to have taken a leaf from the BJP's book?
Well, look, there seems to be a lot of that mutual, do unto them what they did unto you kind of feeling.
Is that there?
That feeling is certainly there, but there have been some major differences. For example, this is now halfway through the second session since the new government came to power. You will find the Congress has been constructively supporting a number of government bills and actions, whereas the BJP systematically tended to oppose anything. We know from the disgraceful episode of WikiLeaks that having brought a no-confidence vote against UPA-1 on the Indo-US nuclear deal, they were simultaneously assuring the Americans they were actually in favor, but they felt obliged to oppose. The Congress wouldn't do that. We oppose only on principle. We oppose where we disagree, where we think the government is doing something seriously wrong, then we oppose. When the government produces something which is constructive and in the interest of the nation, in our view, we support it and we voted for many government bills.
But is that subject to the law of diminishing returns? Because a lot of Congress leaders I speak to tell me that the BJP must be dealt with the same aggression that the BJP dealt with us over these last 10 years.
Many Congress people feel that way.
So which of these two views is a dominant view within the Congress party?
I think the view that's dominant in the party is to give it back to them the way they gave it to us.
And do you support
that? No, I would say we should give it back to them when they deserve it, and we should cooperate with them in the nation's interest. I'll give you an example from my own work as chairman of the External Affairs Committee. We know that the BJP obstructed and thwarted our attempts to pass the Bangladesh Land Boundary Agreement. In fact, it was because of the BJP's opposition, as well as that of two other parties, that the Constitutional Amendment Bill introduced by the UPA was actually referred to the predecessor Committee on External Affairs, which lapsed, of course, when the Lok Sabha was over. When we reconvened in the new Lok Sabha, I became the chairman, and the same bill was again referred to me. Now, there was no question of saying that because they obstructed us, we should also obstruct them. For me and the members of the committee from all parties, the only issue is what's in the national interest. We did a report completely objectively based on the merits, and we have submitted. Now we put the ball back in the government's court to do what they had opposed when they were in opposition, but which they should responsibly do in the national interest as government.
That's what I'm getting at, because now again this entire move has become about who is the real opposition. Is a Trinamool Congress a real opposition party? Is a Congress a real opposition party as far as the Lok Sabha is concerned? Because you don't have the numbers. You're down to 44 seats.
But Trinamool is fewer. So, I mean,
but is there therefore that kind of rivalry which is also playing out?
No. In fact, there's coordination. What I've seen in the House. Remember, I should stress that I'm speaking as an ordinary member. I don't speak for the party, but I see what's going on in front of me. Is that the leaders of the opposition parties actually speak to each other and understand what each other's thinking and concerns is. If you'll see today on this boycott, look at the press conference that took place outside the House. I was there. There were leaders of 9 opposition parties unitedly.
And that's why I'm saying, sir, that's why I'm saying that maybe there is a feeling now, perhaps there is a strategy, and you could throw light on that, that maybe the best way to build unity within the opposition's ranks is also to keep disrupting Parliament. Don't let the BJP get away with it. Is that something which augurs well for the country?
You see, you didn't see that happening. I mean, when this is the first time in, we had what, 5 or 6 weeks of the first session, now 2 weeks of the second session. It's the first time you're seeing a boycott. So it depends on the issue. If the Sadhvi had not said what she said, and the government had not taken the position.
It's not just about the words that you use. It's about the Congress demanding that you should be sacked.
The BJP has taken similar positions on a number of us.
So then it's a quick, it's a tit for tat kind of a game which is being played.
But the point is that in this particular instance, we are demanding that the Prime Minister explain himself. You see, it's not enough for the Prime Minister to tell the media, I accept her apology. There are some in our House who don't accept her apology because she has essentially not only gone against the spirit of Indian civilization, she has actually violated the law. You're not supposed to promote...
So what do you want from the Prime Minister then?
So we want the Prime Minister to account for and to explain how in his cabinet there is a council of ministers. There is somebody who openly admits to having violated the basic law of the country.
So you, in other words, are supporting your party's main demand and the demand which is being made by many other opposition parties as well, that Sadhvi should be sacked, she should be removed from the Union Council of Ministers.
This is definitely a demand of the party, but our first stage of the demand is the Prime Minister should come and make a statement. Once he has explained himself, the party can then decide whether to insist on resignation.
So is this boycott that we have seen today, is this boycott only and only limited to that one single demand of the Prime Minister making a statement in the House, as he's done in the Rajya Sabha?
The boycott was taken today because of a cumulative... There were 2 or 3 things that happened. The Prime Minister came to the House yesterday but didn't speak on the issue. The Prime Minister made a statement outside to the media that he accepts the apology and not to the Lok Sabha. This was a matter of grave concern. The Sadhvi has not taken any steps beyond this perfunctory apology in the House, which was a one-sentence apology. And on top of that, there was a feeling on the part of many party leaders that the Speaker, perhaps under pressure, this was suggested by Mr. Kharge, was not entirely fair in allowing the opposition leaders to present their point of view. Instead of allowing question hour to run amidst the bedlam, she could have easily briefly interrupted question hour, let Mr. Kharge, Mr. Bandyopadhyay, a couple of people speak, explain their concerns, and then allowed matters to continue.
You think this is what happens when you have a brute majority that the BJP has?
That is what the Congress...
Are you worried that maybe the Lok Sabha Speaker is not working in a...
No, I don't want to cast aspersions on the Speaker. To be honest, in our tradition, the Speaker is above politics, and we respect, she's a veteran. I think she's been in Parliament 7 terms. I mean, this is somebody she has seen a lot. I mean, we have seen her, but she has seen a lot of this House. She's seen a lot of the practices. She's also seen the way the BJP has behaved over the last 10 years. So she knows that, sadly, there have been precedents for everything that the Congress has done. Indeed, the Congress has done less. There are no paperweights being thrown. There are no papers being torn. There are no mics being torn. There are no pepper spray being unleashed. So please, let us not assume that the Congress has been as bad as the worst we have seen over the last 10 years. But having said that, whatever the Congress has done, the Speaker has seen before and seen worse. So, but we're not... As I said, we will never cast aspersions on the Speaker.
Because some within your party have tried to do exactly what you're suggesting you don't want to do.
No, I don't want to cast aspersions on the Speaker. That is, first of all, not in keeping with our parliamentary traditions. We put the Speaker above the fray. But we want her to understand that particularly when there is a brute majority on the other side, she is the protector of the traditions and the custodians of this House. She owes that much more of an obligation to the opposition, to give the opposition time, to give the opposition space, to allow the opposition to be heard. If she takes an implacable position, as she has done today, for example, in insisting on running the full question hour...
So what happens here tomorrow, if the strategy is the same from the Speaker tomorrow?
Tomorrow is another day, and we will have to make a decision tomorrow. I know that definitely my own party members will be meeting tomorrow before the House convenes, and we will decide how we want to proceed.
What do you want, sir? I know you keep saying that these are all your individuals. What would you believe?
The truth is, on such matters, it is a party decision and not an individual decision.
But would Dr. Tharoor...
I mean, if the party decides to boycott, I will boycott with it. I am a loyal member of the party. I will not personally take an independent stand of my party simply because these are issues which involve a perception of political stakes as well as national interest.
But let me just broaden this up a bit. On one hand, you're looking at a scenario where there are different opposition parties which are all coming together on one platform. Now, if this issue is so important for the Congress party that you have gone to the extent of boycotting Parliament today, don't you think it would have been better maybe for the lead in this battle against the BJP to be taken in by your own leader, by Mr. Rahul Gandhi?
No, our leader in the parliament...
Not Mr. Kharge.
He is the leader in parliament. You see,
I agree. But
in fact, he is the only one recognized as such, so nobody else can do what he can do.
I agree.
He can stand up as a matter of right from that first seat in the opposition. But
look at what Venkaiah Naidu has said today. The Parliamentary Affairs Minister has gone on record accusing the Congress party of running a campaign against a leader only and only because she was a woman. Now that may be the BJP strategy, that the Congress is, put the Congress on the back foot. Do you not think that maybe Rahul Gandhi could have also shown some aggression?
No, Rahul Gandhi happens to be in his constituency today. He was not in Delhi at all. So the question is academic. But as far as the Congress party is concerned, every one of our women MPs feels as strongly about this. This is not a gender issue. It is a communal issue. It is a question of...
The BJP is attempting to convert this into a gender issue. And this is the exact quote that I've got from Venkaiah Naidu.
Well, I know Mr. Venkaiah Naidu, and frankly I'm a bit surprised because at no stage have we seen any reference to gender in any of the comments made by any of the opposition.
But what I'm really getting at, sir, is...
And frankly, if somebody who's a male had said the same thing, they would have been the same.
The approach would have been the same. There's absolutely no doubt about the fact that the statements which have been made by Sadhvi are completely unacceptable, be that as it may. I'm just trying to understand, has the Congress party learned any lessons in these last 6 months? Do you believe that maybe Rahul Gandhi, Sonia Gandhi really need to take the lead? Not necessarily just being in their constituency, but also showing some leadership in parliament.
Believe me, they take a lead within the party. You already saw, for example, Rahul Gandhi was in the forefront of the party's dharna on the BJP's U-turns. It's just that, you see, because they're leading a party, they're running their own constituencies.
It's a photo op, Dr. Tharoor. You're one of the most candid politicians, and you're not someone who holds his views back.
But photo ops are very important in politics as well. Our government has taught us how important photo ops are. Our current Prime Minister is the master of photo ops. How can you deny us the privilege of doing the same thing?
Is Mr. Gandhi, is Rahul Gandhi or senior Congress leaders, is that all that you all are interested in?
No, on the contrary. We are raising an issue of substance, frankly, on this particular matter today. There are fundamental issues of substance involved. We believe there are elements in the ruling party, I'm afraid the lady is an example of it, who believe in communal polarization, who believe in dividing our society.
Now, if this was about, if this is about divisions within the society, if this is about the BJP allegedly being a communal party, would it not have been better, again I'm asking you, for Rahul Gandhi to take the lead? Why is it that I don't hear him? Why is it that I don't hear
we have very clear rules in Parliament. There is only one person.
The party president will never speak.
No, the leader of the party in Parliament is not Sonia Gandhi. It happens to be Mr. Kharge.
That's fair. That's a fair point.
She is the president of the party, and in that capacity, she leads the party. Rahul Gandhi is the vice president. He leads us. I mean, there's no question about that. But in Parliament, the person authorized to interact with the speaker, to stand up and speak for all 44 of us is Mr. Kharge.
You look at the BJP. You have a BJP president, Mr. Amit Shah, who's going around the country addressing election rallies.
Correct.
He articulates his views practically on everything.
But so is
you have a prime minister who's touring the world, and the Congress leaders are criticizing him, but he's also someone who takes to Twitter and never ceases to continue to reach out to people. I'm saying, sir, that don't you think that maybe you all are still missing a trick there?
No, I have no disagreement with the proposition that we need to have less reticence at the highest levels of our party, at all levels of our party. I think we need to be much more forthcoming and engage the public.
Is that reticence still there?
I think there is much less. I think it was part of the culture of the party that our leadership did not feel they should overexpose themselves. But we feel that in the 21st century media culture that you are all running in this country, it is necessary now to be out there.
Okay.
We don't like to be in your face, but the public seems to want it, and certainly we know that there are leaders on the other side who have been rewarded for being in your face.
Let me take a break at this stage. On the other side, questions related to the future of the Congress party and where exactly is Dr. Tharoor in that larger scheme for the Congress party. Welcome back. We're in conversation on the hot seat today with Dr. Tharoor. Now, Dr. Tharoor, you've tried to defend the position which is being taken by your party in Parliament. But let's really look forward now and let's look at the next 1 year. Elections happening now in Jammu Kashmir and Jharkhand. Now, all plausible scenarios seem to be suggesting a wipeout for the Congress party in these two states as well.
No, we don't give up on
you may not, which is optimism, be that as it may. The truth is that as we enter the last month of 2014, if I was to ask you, the key lesson that you would have taken from the kind of scenario you all find yourselves in, what would that lesson be?
Well, I think there's too many lessons that come together simultaneously. I mean, we know all the things that went wrong. I think one thing that the Congress Party has done very effectively in the last 6 months is detailed introspection, detailed self-analysis. We've all been speaking to the top leadership. We've been given time on repeated occasions by the President and the Vice President. There have been internal discussions. So there's no question that we understand what went wrong. We understand the way we were tarnished on corruption. We understand the bad luck we had on the price rise issue, the international rise of fuel prices and food prices. We understand frankly the local factors from state, which vary from state to state, that hurt us, such as in Andhra, how we went from 33 to 0.
If I was to simply ask you one...
So we understand multiple factors. As far as the organizational issues are concerned, that is for those who lead the organization to draw the conclusions. But one of my analyses as a relative newcomer to politics is that what I've seen in Kerala, where we did relatively well, does not seem to be so visible elsewhere in the country. That is, where the Congress Party organization in Kerala sees politics as a form of social service and conducts itself that way. Whereas in other parts of the country, we seem to be seeing the party as a machine to fight elections.
You yourself, sir, are often described, and I'm sorry to use the word, as a villain, you know, by your own party colleagues in Kerala. Now, if that kind of a scenario keeps playing up, and when you made you took your own decision of accepting the Swachh Bharat initiative, which was unleashed by the Prime Minister, you were removed from the party spokesperson's job. Now, I'm saying that here is a party which is down to 44 seats. You do well in a state, and you are removed for doing something which you thought was right. What does that show about this kind of leadership that you have at the center?
No, I think you're drawing inferences which are simply not justified. On the spokesmanship, I had no difficulty with the party's decision, because a spokesman by definition has to toe a party line. And very clearly the
party MP, sir. Surely you will be towing the party line on issues.
Let me explain what I mean by that. What I mean by that is, anything that a spokesman does is ascribed to the party. Now, whether I like it or not, I have an independent existence as well. And the Prime Minister didn't ask me as a Congress spokesman. He said Congress Sansad when he invited me in his speech. But the fact is, he invited me almost certainly because of my social media following and so on, and not because I'm a Congress spokesman. Now, the fact is that I felt, as a responsible citizen of this country, that when the Prime Minister invites any citizen for a non-political cause, that it was incumbent upon me to honor the spirit of that request, and I did so. And I've absolutely not taken back my participation.
You did not seek any permission from Sonia Gandhi or Rahul Gandhi?
Well, it was not practical. Unfortunately for me, I was not in India. I was not in any space where I could reach out. I did try by phone. It was very difficult. I was far away. So, in fact, I had to make a decision before the sun set in India. I was in Bucharest, Romania for a conference where I was on Gandhiji's birthday. But unfortunately, it was a place where there wasn't even Indian media. So I couldn't actually communicate in any other way except
in times of Twitter, you can't communicate, and with the kind of following that you yourself have.
I did tweet, and I tweeted very clearly saying I accept this, but I don't believe in photo ops.
But tell me,
I said if Swachh Bharat is about a few grandees wielding brooms on Gandhi Jayanti who will never touch a broom again till the next Gandhi Jayanti, then that's not good enough.
Fair enough.
And I made some very serious points on Twitter and in my blog and on the internet and a couple of days later.
But in conclusion, sir, there are many leaders within the Congress who've been trying to reopen the leadership debate within the party. Do you believe, as we again come to the end of 2014, do you believe time has come for the Congress to really do a good, hard analysis and ask itself one basic question? Is Rahul Gandhi really going to be the person leading the party in future?
Listen, the analysis is going on. The conclusions have not yet been arrived at. Therefore, I can't answer that part of the question. But I think that we are, by and large, very content with our leadership. We want certain decisions to emerge from them after the 6 months of introspection. And we're looking forward to seeing what those decisions are.
You don't think that the Gandhi brand is a liability today?
Forgive me. Let me come back to the earlier point we left incomplete about my own role. I have spoken in 2 debates in Parliament this week, in which I spoke for the party. But I spoke as an MP who did his own research, came up with his own position. I'm not a spokesman, but I'm a party member, a party MP, and my broad vision of the nation's needs and priorities are in consonance with that of my party. So that's the kind of role that I continue to expect to play, as well as my role in Parliament as, for example, Chairman of the External Affairs Committee, as a member of other committees. I continue to play my role.
So you're satisfied with the kind of responsibilities which are being given to you by your party?
I think it's entirely the party's prerogative what responsibilities they wish to give an MP.
And to that extent, you don't think that this view which is being circulated, that the Gandhi name itself is a liability today for the Congress party?
No, the Gandhi name is an asset to far more voters than those who consider it a liability. I accept that in a democracy like ours, there will always be two people. Mr. Modi won 31% of the vote. There are clearly 69% who don't think Mr. Modi is that great. Similarly, we know there are people who don't
But
like
which
the
party
Gandhis.
has ever got 50% of the vote in this country?
Exactly,
I mean,
not since Rajiv Gandhi.
Yeah.
So let me just say that as far as we're concerned, within our party, there is very strong support for the Gandhi family.
That support still remains?
Yeah.
There are those like
From
Mr.
what I
Chidambaram
see-
in the past who have wondered whether it's possible for a non-Gandhi to be a party president. Do you believe that's a possibility?
Well, there has been. I mean, there have been.
In the present scenario?
Well, in the present scenario, that is at the moment not a vacancy. There is an incumbent president, an incumbent vice president, and as far as I'm concerned, if tomorrow there were an election in the party, from what I see, I would not lose money if I bet on them getting re-elected. So
Bottom line is this, that Shashi Tharoor still believes that the Gandhis remain force number one within the Congress party.
No debate about that.
No debate about that. All right. On that note, Dr. Tharoor, thanks so much for speaking.
Thanks very much.